So today we're going to be working on a Winchester SXP 12 gauge pump shotgun. We're going to be disassembling it. I'll show you where to oil it and where to clean it. And we'll also show you how to reassemble it. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to take this cap off. And that shows, you're going to take the barrel off after that. That shows this spring-loaded tensioner right here. You're going to push this in with your finger. You're going to turn about a quarter turn. And you can feel it out. There's a lot of spring tension behind that, so you're going to have to be careful. Big old spring. Take that right out. Now, it's a simple process, really. There's not a lot to this gun here. You're going to push this pin out. One pin, whole gun. Push that pin, pull it out from the other side. Maybe give a little more tension there. Alright, pin's out. Then, I'm going to be able to pull the whole entire trigger assembly and firing group out. And it just lifts up from the back. It's basically like a hinge. See that? You slide out. To reinstall, which I'll show you in a bit, but I know you're watching from the top. I like to pinch these two right here because they expand a little bit. You pinch these two, slide it in, and then you like to slide in like that. So, I'm going to take that out for the meanwhile. Then you can take your pump action out, which comes with the firing pin and the bolt. So, the firing pin and the bolt. What I like to do is push in a little bit. This is the firing pin. Push in, slide them out. You can feel this is all the way out. That's all the way in. Go right in between. Now you rotate out. And you wiggle it out. Okay? So, this is the firing pin here. That's the spring on it. Clean that. Now you're going to want to clean this, but you want to oil it very good because that is what rotates into the chamber and locks the bolt in. Make sure there's no blowback, right? And it also makes your function smoother if you oil it very good. So for reassembly, since I've already cleaned this, we're going to put this back in. Okay. Now, you see in between these 3-4 notches here and this one big notch, that gap there needs to line up with this little half moon here. So you're going to push that in just the slightest bit, and you're going to lay it right in there. It can be a bit finicky sometimes. You see? Just popped. Right there. See that? It's in there. Alright, so we're going to do the reassembly right now. I like to, on the reassembly, I like to just very lightly oil these slides right here. Okay? And then in here, I like to oil this slide right here. And then you should also just clean all the gunk out of the chamber there. So we're going to slide this back on. Okay. Then we're going to take this. You should put a tiny little drop of oil every once in a while on these hinge points. You can see 1, 2, basically 3, but this is just where the pin goes, but you do want the pin to come out nicely when you do disassemble this. So you have to cock it to get it back together. It has to be cocked. So don't pull the trigger because you don't want it to just dry fire and hit this part right here. So we're going to pull this about there. It's not a big deal wherever it is. I'm going to squeeze it, like I said. Rotate it in. Okay, let me do that so you can see it. I'm going to squeeze it. Okay? You just rotate it in. No big deal. Okay? You take the pin, put it back in. Sometimes these pins from the factory like to be put in one way. Alright? So you might have a difficult time. If you're having a difficult time, flip it over, try it the other way. Might go better for you. Okay? Right now, this is basically a fully functioning gun, right? So, okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to reinstall this. It's basically a mag tube spring. This spring holds your shells in when you press this down and you shove shells in there, right? You can see that right there. I'm going to put the spring in. I'm going to put a shell in and it presses the shells. It's basically a mag tube spring. Now, it's a very big spring. Some hunting guns have bigger springs and regulations where you can only hold about 3 rounds, and then the home defense ones you can hold like 7. So it really depends on what gun you have. So we're going to put this stopper back in. I like to hold it with my pointer finger, press it in, and you can feel it. So just wiggle around until you feel a notch, and then it'll come back out and it's hold it in there. It's not going to come back out. Okay? Then, super simple, basically done. Put the barrel back on, straight shot, and you put the cap back on. You go all the way until it stops. And that is a fully assembled and disassembled Winchester SXP.